We are here with Coach Thiessen, head coach of the men's and women's cross country teams here at Northwestern, and you have the conference meet this Saturday. So what does this week look like for the Northwestern cross country teams in terms of workouts, meetings, or other things as you prepare for that meet?
Well, yeah, the conference meet, it's kind of what we've been building all season for. It's when the points count. The rest of the time, they count, but it's not quite as big a deal. But here at your conference team, so we're looking forward to it. We're hoping to peak. I mean, that's what we're gearing our training for, is to be a peak performance, and we've been running really well all season. So we just expect them to do that. So tapering, training-wise, we're down. We're just kind of what we call tapering and losing some of the miles. The intensity is still pretty high, but the volume is not quite as intense as it has been for most of the season.
Great. And as you look ahead to Saturday's UMAC championship meet, what can we expect to be the headlines from the Northwestern runners?
Wow. Well, I'd like to see a couple of all-conference recipients in there. Derek's running really well for us, and he's been all-conference, I think, his first 3 seasons. So it'd be fun to finish out his senior year as number 4, all-conference honors. That'd be great. On the ladies' side, it'll be a tough fight for them. They'll have to run really hard and well. We might see 2 ladies in the top 12. That's what it takes to be all-conference. And if we could put 2 in the top 12, that'd be a good day for us.
And your last meet was 2 weeks ago, down at the same New Ulm course you'll be racing at this weekend. How does being familiar with the location and course help you prepare for this week's competition?
Yeah, mentally is kind of the biggest part, is just knowing what's there to visually go through it in this week as we prepare for it. So, what are the areas that you can be better at as you look back over where was it tough? Well, how do I do them better? There's a tricky little hill in there that's a nice little steep climb, and knowing that and how to manage that better and what to do after it, because it's really close to the end for the men, actually for the ladies both, it's near the end. So how do we really get after it, have that finishing kick, because if you wait, it's over. The finish is there. So it's nice to know those things and just mentally be prepared for how to better run your race.
And you started off the season with 4 consecutive weekend meets and now have had 2-week breaks in between your last 2 meets. How do you use those breaks to your advantage as you gear up for the end of the season here now?
I really like those breaks. I like to train on a 14-day cycle and race at the end of that period. So the first month, 6 weeks, we were pretty more intense with some racing, and now we're be able to back off so that hopefully the legs are fresh. That's the goal, so we can hit that peak performance again. And so not racing every week is a great the approach that I've adopted here in the last few years to make that happen.
And you mentioned Derek Schlager. Derek was named the UMAC Men's Cross Country Runner of the Week for 3 weeks in a row this year and has been the first Northwestern runner across the finish line in every meet this season. Has he had the senior year you expected him to have, or has he surprised you?
Well, I'd say he's had the year that we would expect. Derek's just a tremendous worker. He knows the sport inside and out, and is continuing to learn it. So he's a great guy to coach. His work ethic is outstanding, and his results kind of indicate that he's grown. We were talking about it the other day, actually, and as a sophomore, making some changes in how he ran, his form, his mechanics and things, and now he's those changes have kind of gelled for him. And last year he had a great, outstanding cross-country track season, and this year it's just continuing to go in that direction. So I'd say it's kind of moved in the direction we thought it would. So he's excited about that. I am as well.
And on the women's side, you've been led by the duo of Sammy Wong and Allie Hadley throughout the season. How has it helped your team to have 2 runners lead the pack at different times?
It's nice to share that load as far as being the front leader. They both have different styles. Allie tends to be the get out and go right away, hang on kind of towards the end, still finishes really well for us. Sammy tends to be a little bit more reserved at the start and comes on strong throughout the race. So it's fun to see that. And some days that one style works better than the other in terms of, and then who's going to finish first. So I don't think they compete so much like I got to beat you and be first. It's just a good camaraderie and support for one another. And they do well with it.
And finally, the forecasted temperature for the meet is 41 degrees. How much of a factor does the cold play in the athlete's performance?
Cold, I would define cold as in the 20s. So 40 is actually going to be a good day for racing. It's going to be more if it's wet and if it's actually raining, any precipitation. Those factors will play a big deal in it, because the course is on a wooded trail, a lot of dirt, and that can affect footing. There is a little bit of grass, some road pavement, so those things play a part. But the coolness, no, that shouldn't be a big factor.
Great, thank you, Coach.
Yeah.